segment put in the chat that the effing award shows, and we're talking about like the Oscars, the Emmys, the BAFTAs, need to get with the 21st century, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at first blush, I understand the sentiment, right? It is not the same entertainment landscape as it was, 25 years ago. Hell, even 15 years ago, right? We just know this, right? So at first blush, I want to agree with the sentiment. But I don't. And I actually think that some of the award shows need to look back at their history and they need to start putting their foot down more, right?
Mm.
And the reason for this is the Netflixes of the world. And what brought this was Netflix submitted K-pop Demon Hunters for a BAFTA, right? Which that's what you do. You submit your stuff for awards consideration, right? And the BAFTA said no. And Netflix appealed. And the BAFTAs still said no. The BAFTA said that it has to have a qualifying theatrical release because the BAFTA is the British equivalent of the Oscar. It's the British Film Awards, right? Under exceptional circumstances, they could change their mind, right? When Netflix appealed, BAFTA said, no, there's nothing exceptional about this circumstance. You decided to release something to streaming, which is true. You had no fucking idea that this was going to be the massive global hit that it was, right?
True.
But the only reason you put it in theaters after that was as a gimmick after it had already blown up and become this cultural thing. Okay? So we're not going to reward you for that. Okay?
Yeah.
The Oscars has a very, they've got a specific thing, which is why you will see Netflix and Amazon periodically. They will do a release for 4 days in 13 cities.
Oh.
Okay? Just enough to get Oscar freaking consideration, right? And it drives me up the fucking wall. Okay? And here's why. One, I don't care what anybody says. The theatrical experience is different. Okay? It just is. Okay? It is a slightly different art form. Okay? And things that should be experienced in theaters should be experienced in theaters, right? My first case in point is Star Wars. Go watch one of these Star Wars re-releases in a movie theater. Because you've watched it 100 times at home. But go back and watch it in a theater again and tell me that shit doesn't hit different. Okay? It just does. It's a different art form. And here's the thing. Netflix, all you other streamers, there's already an award show for television movies. It's called the Emmys. It's always been there. The problem is you guys don't want Emmys because, again, the history of TV movies was that back in the 80s, 90s, etc., TV movies were garbage, right? They just were, okay? They were lower production value. They were lower budget. They had lesser stars. Go watch some of the documentaries about actors talking about trying to break into movies from TV. TV and movie actors used to be very, very different. They used to be two very distinct groups, right? And going from movies to TV was considered a step down, and breaking into films from television was a nightmare for actors, okay? Because it was there. So when we say the effing award shows need to join the 21st century, I'm going to go no. I think that the production companies need to look at the history of the art form, because again, we could talk about what it is, but at the end of the day, film, television, and movies is still an art form and should be respected as such, right? And we should look at the history of that art form and the mediums in which it's meant to be seen and reward those people for honoring that history and doing not just these bullshit 13 city 4-day releases, right? But real theatrical releases. So that's the end of that little mini rant there, Jay. What do you think about what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I agree, and I love K-pop Demon Hunters. Obviously, I love the songs. I love the style of it. I love the storyline, and yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. They had no idea this was going to blow up. And when it blew up, then they tried to do like a little miniature theater release, which, I'm happy about. That's great. But I mean, like at the end of the day, they just didn't qualify for the award. I mean, if they planned ahead and they knew they were like projecting like this is going to be a huge hit, like you did, I don't know, studies, like consumer studies, and are like, wow, this is rating really, really high. And we might release this into the theater. Then this would have been avoided. So, but no, you have to play by the rules. I don't know. Like I mean, it sucks, right? But like also at the same time, I don't think K-pop Demon Hunters can win literally every single award in the world. Like they're getting nominated for so many awards. They're probably going to win a lot of awards. Just let just let it go. I don't
Well,
know.
and this is what I mean by the bullshit. So the way that they did this for the Oscars, right? They gamed it for the Oscars. They screened K-pop Demon Hunters from June 20th to 26th at 3 theaters. The Landmark Opera Plaza in San Francisco, the Lamel Glendale in Los Angeles County, and the Quad Cinema in New York. Why? Academy rules require that a film be shown for paid admission in a commercial theater in at least one of the 6 qualifying U.S. metro areas: LA, New York, Bay Area, Chicago, Dallas, or Atlanta, right? So it's going to get a chance at the Oscars, right? But again, they did some BS on the back end for the BAFTA, and BAFTA just wasn't buying it. They need a category for streaming movies. It's called the Emmys. That's what it is. Those are television movies. They're TV movies. I am actually firmly against them adding an Oscar category for streaming movies. If the bullshit Golden Globes want to do it, let them, right? But the Golden Globes have been and still have a lot of work to do on their reputation before they stop being kind of a joke. That explains why I've never heard of so many art films. And actually, specifically, and this is actually makes me mad, the reason it's so easy to get a qualification for an Oscar is so that independent movies have a shot. Because an indie movie that never gets a major distributor has no chance at an Oscar unless you make it really easy. Right? So that's why they do it that way, so that independent films have a chance, because they don't have distribution. I assume you're meaning that streaming movies are not TV movies. I would beg to differ. And actually, Jay, I'll let you jump in there. How are streaming movies made for streaming that are only released on streaming, not TV movies? Definitionally, that's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. What? No, I mean they are movies. Yes. Um
So they don't have
trying to
commercials.
think about it.
But every HBO original movie that was ever nominated for anything, again, and HBO original movies don't have commercials, were never eligible for Oscars. They were only eligible for Emmys. Because the fact that it doesn't have commercials has no bearing on it. It's what medium was it released on. Emmys, the Emmy Awards, are for television, and the Oscars are for theatrical films.
Yeah.
And as we just covered, it's not hard to qualify for an Oscar. You don't got to release it in that many theaters.
Yeah, and it's just different. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Netflix did not know what they had. What's going to be actually interesting to me is Netflix going to like change their strategy? Like, are they going to be careful? Are they going to do some more, I don't know, audience surveying before something like this comes out to see if they want to release it into theaters to go for these type of awards? But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, you just didn't follow the rules.
This has always been Netflix's struggle.
Oh.
And this has always been the challenge that they have. Are you a tech company or are you a production company? Right? Because you can't, I don't think you can really be both. Right? That's the problem. And Netflix went from tech company to production company very quickly without a lot of thought about how they were doing it. They just said, we're going to make our own stuff so that people will stay subscribed to our service, right? And again, I don't think they really know what they are anymore, right? Because they still have a lot of that internal culture, that internal way of doing things that makes them a tech company, not a production company. Which is how you end up with, well, we got this K-pop Demon Hunters thing that we worked on with Sony, and it blew up. But hey, we gave the Russo brothers $300 million to make this other movie called The Electric State, and it was a dumpster fire. Right? Like, what? Yeah, that Electric State movie starring Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown cost $300 million. Cost Netflix $300 million. And it was bad.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't even know. I think I vaguely remember seeing it, like seeing the movie, but I didn't watch it.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And every studio has their stakers. Most studios don't spend $300 million on their stakers. There's $300 million a lot of movies.
Yeah.
You know? Take that for what it's worth. Again, they didn't know what they had. Because again, they think of it. They think of themselves like a tech company. They just threw it up there. How many times have we done on this show and every show I've done in the past about, hey, this thing came to Netflix and nobody had any idea?
Yeah,
like, oh, this has been on Netflix for months. Right?
Yeah, Netflix really does have to figure that shit out.
I really think that's why they want to buy Warner Brothers.
And I can see where like that would really, really help Netflix. Like, kind of like what you were saying. They're just not a company right now that's set up to produce shit. And I think like buying Warner Brothers like would help them in that area. But yeah, the Netflix, it's just, how the hell do you advertise, or how the hell do you not advertise for movies that you're producing that are like $300 million? Like, I don't know.
The problem is again, I don't think they know how to advertise them, right?
No.
There's a structure and a way that advertising is done for theatrical releases that works, right? They know what works. You also have trailers in movie theaters to make people want to go see your movie, right? When you're flipping through Netflix, you're not looking at coming soon on Netflix trailers. You don't give a crap, right? There's nowhere on platform for them to really advertise per se, right? Ahead of time, right? Before the launch of the thing that anybody's going to pay any attention to. You're not going to put a trailer for it in the theaters because you're not doing a theatrical release. I don't know how they advertise it. And again, I don't think they know how to advertise it. And I think that's the one thing that's really kicked their butts. Because there is a lot of really interesting stuff on Netflix that just... I'll give you an example, right? And I guarantee you, nobody's fucking watched it. Or half the people in our thing have not watched it. Who's watched Three Body Problem?
Oh, yes. I love that.
Okay. I'll bet you if we take a poll of our chat right now, almost nobody has watched Three Body Problem. Okay. Yeah, one person so far in the chat has watched Three Body Problem, right? Nobody knew it was coming out. I don't think most people even heard of it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing series.
Great.
Right? It's an amazing series. Right? Awesome cast. Right? Amazing cast. Right? Cool concepts, great sci-fi, good CGI, good writing. Where are you advertising it? And I like what somebody said in the chat. How do you not advertise your $300 million movie? Our algorithm will do it for us, right? And I think that's really what they think. So, again, kind of bring this back around to the front. No, I don't think the award shows need to join the 21st century. I think some of the production companies need to respect the art forms that they're supposedly making and stop being jerks about it. And I'm talking specifically to you, Netflix.